Hi everyone, this is Dr. Mike, host of the free iTunes podcast, Psychiatric Secrets Revealed with Dr. Mike. But that's not why I'm here today. This is another Saving Savvy episode, this time asking a very theoretical question. If you could only have one type of camera, which one would you choose? Now, I don't know why I think of these things. I guess I'm kind of a compulsive person, so I wonder and ponder such questions. And I tend to have a lot of different cameras for a number of reasons. First of all, I've been shooting pictures for years, so you kind of collect cameras along the way. And I'm also not afraid to buy a refurb camera or last year's model or, even a used camera if I know it's coming from a good source. So if I can pick up a camera at a good price, just for the sheer pleasure of playing around with it, I'll often do that. So typically, since I have different types of cameras, I use them for different purposes, kind of like a tool chest. I might use a compact camera if I'm going over to someone's house to shoot a few snaps of something, all the way up to a DSLR if I'm doing more professional, and I always put that in quotation marks because I'm not a professional, but if I'm doing professional work like professional type portraits or event photography, etc. So a wide variety of cameras, they each serve their purpose, but if I could only have one type of camera, could I do all of those things with one type of camera? I don't want to carry around the DSLR. It's big and bulky and too complicated for simple stuff. The compact cameras have gotten really excellent through the years, but they're kind of limited too in what I would want to do. So the answer came to me pretty quickly, and that's this camera right here. Now this is my very much loved Olympus EPL2 camera that I've had for a number of years. And I'm not saying it would have to be this camera, but this particular style, which is a micro four thirds camera, is really what I, for me, consider the absolute ideal camera. Micro four thirds cameras are made by Panasonic and Olympus. They're both excellent. They follow the same type of lens mounting, so you can use an Olympus lens on a Panasonic camera and vice versa, so there's lots of lens choices. And so why do I think this one would meet my needs for all my purposes? Well, it's certainly not tiny, but it definitely is very small, and I've taken huge hikes and long trips with this around my neck, never even noticing that it was there. You can do that with the DSLR. It has interchangeable lenses, but because the sensor is smaller, the lenses are smaller. And you can get some very high quality lenses for micro four thirds cameras now. So this particular little lens, which is not very big at all, it's a prime, it's a 17 millimeter, which would be roughly like a 35 millimeter format and a 35 millimeter full frame sensor. So this would be a great walk around lens. But look at this. Here is, I have to get the right numbers on the side, a 14 to 42 millimeters, so that would be like a 28 to like 85 millimeter lens. Perfect for just about anything you'd want to do. Look how tiny that is. Let me compare that to my coffee cup that's over here. Coffee cup lens. And this has an aftermarket lens hood on it. If I took that off, it's even smaller. So you have that. Well, how about if you wanted a telephoto lens? Well, this particular telephoto lens is 40 to 150, which is an 80 to 300 millimeter equivalent lens. Coffee cup lens. Really tiny. Really lightweight. Wouldn't weigh anything to put this in a little kind of thing around my shoulder or something like that. So, and the image quality on these cameras is really, really good. Is it as good as a full frame DSLR? No. But it's really, really good, and it would be good for just about anything that I would have to do. If someone said, hey, I need a couple of headshots for whatever, to put on LinkedIn or something, no problem. Easily do it with this. The other thing is that it's manual enough that I have all the controls that I would ever need, including a hot shoe. And these cameras will even do off-camera speed lights. So you could even do something like that too. And it has an accessory port, so if I wanted to, and I never can do these things when I'm trying to do them on camera, but I could put on an electronic viewfinder. So if I needed that, I had that option too. So I would say that you could see the genius in those folks that thought of the micro four thirds camera style. It really is great, and I'm not knocking the other camera manufacturers that are throwing APS-C sensors in mirrorless cameras, because those are awesome too. But I know I have a sister who has a Next camera. She sees gigantic, huge lenses on there because the sensor is just that much bigger. Wonderful camera, not putting it down, but I really love these Micro Four Thirds. So if you are so inclined and you want to do this mental exercise for no other reason than doing it, think about it, and if you feel like it, put your comments below and tell me what would be the camera that you would choose, or the type of camera, if you could only have one type of camera. Thanks for watching, and if you get some time, please give my podcast a listen. It's called Psychiatric Secrets Revealed with Dr. Mike. This particular month that's up right now, it's on psychological testing, what it is, why it's important, how valid is it. We also look at those survey questions, those things that you can take in magazines, how accurate are they. So it's just kind of a fun thing. It's definitely designed for lay people. You can find it on iTunes. It's an audio podcast. You can find it other places too if you don't want to use iTunes. Have a great day.